Hello, my dear Aquas. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to your soul reading for February. I'm so happy that you're here with me today. I have been feeling really called to do the Virgo reading for a while now, and I'm in the middle of moving house, and so I'm like literally surrounded by boxes, but I've made this little sanctuary to continue to do the readings, but I've been really busy. And in that calling to do the Virgo reading, I kept getting interrupted energetically by your energy, by the Aquarian collective energy, and, what you've been feeling, and, some of the struggles, and then also like moments where it's so much lighter as well. And so I thought, you know what? It's Aqua's birthday. It's time for me to speak to Aquas. The last time we spoke was New Year's Eve. A lot has happened since then. A lot has integrated in your lives from the big tumultuous changes that you were starting to go through. And I think now you're kind of in the middle of it. You haven't like completed the cycle just yet, but that is coming. And just quick note, if Virgos are watching this, I am getting to your reading next. Just bear with me, but there might be something in this reading that's also good for Virgos because the energies were intertwining at certain stages. So anyway, so what was happening for me when I was starting to tap in, it was kind of two polarities of energies. And that's when I realized, okay, this is a stop and go situation. This is like you waking up in the morning, or you waking up one day and just having this very clear vision or this very clear insight of the steps that it's going to take, the discipline that it's going to take to continue on this path to clear the past and to begin anew, and to build the things that are going to support your dreams, right? And so you see this so clearly, and you understand that there's divine timing at play. And then a few days later, or for some of you, even a few moments later, it's like the doubt kicks in, the self-doubt, the inferiority complex, the imposter syndrome, the fears, some of the things that you are working to heal through this process, they keep kind of resurfacing. And then the momentum comes in again, and it kicks you into gear. And again, you can see the clear picture, and it's time to move, and it's time to go. So Spirit wants you to understand that this is all a part of the process. And when you dip back into those moments of lower vibrational energies of self-doubt and fear, just understand that that is a part of the process of what is happening. So instead of focusing so much on the result and then getting disappointed by minor setbacks, this is a really good time for you to focus more on process, on discipline, on weaving the tapestry, the web of your legacy, of your life, of what you are creating, which is going to be not only for you, it's going to support other people. And this, as we talked about in the last reading, is not just in a financial sense, it's also in a spiritual sense. It's the oneness, right? It's the combination, it's the full rounded life experience that we're talking about, mind, body, spirit. And because this is a masterpiece of your life, of your legacy, there are going to be moments like this where you're going to have to leave a lot of things behind. And I know that you've been on that trajectory for a while. And a lot of things have ended, and you've closed out a lot, and you've actually released a lot. I feel you very light on your feet, which was the objective for January. So I'm so proud of you. I think it takes an immense amount of trust and effort to be in that lighter space and to understand that you are held and that you're being taken and protected through this time. But it's important to be kind to yourself, in the sense that when you dip back into the self-doubt and the fears, acknowledge what you're experiencing, and don't just kind of shrug it under the, like sweep it under the rug and then keep charging ahead. Acknowledge what you're feeling and release it into the light. And two things that came through for you, one is the sinuses, like blockage of flow in the nasal cavities, or in however it manifests for you. There's some sort of physical blockage that's happening, and that's generally a sign of you blocking your emotions and your thoughts. And so while I'm really glad and happy that you're not allowing your thoughts to take over you and to paralyze you, bravo on that. Now, the second step to that is to be able to release it, right? And so there's a need for you to do very high intensity exercise, dance, and understand that, like, in that movement, in that flow, you're actually expelling energy that you no longer are carrying. Like you no longer, it's no longer part of your consciousness, but it's still sort of attached to your energetic body. So there's a need to expel that, right? And doing like martial arts and anything that's going to be like high intensity. Okay. So that came through. And in terms of the thoughts that you're not releasing at this time, and you're disassociating, your discernment is very high. You're disassociating from, and you're seeing it, right? It's being reflected to you. You're seeing that there's certain parts of you that still need healing, or that still bring you down a little bit, or there's those certain people that are still around that are triggering you in certain ways, right? But now you're taking that bird's eye view of the situation, which is such a beautiful part of the process, because now you can sort of move forward in the knowing of where this teaching, where this learning, where this karmic cycle has to break now, and how it's impacted you in so many ways in your life, right? And knowing that you don't want to bring that into the future it's like you're 99% there, right? Ready to release it. So the other thing that I saw in terms of releasing, I kept seeing the Ten of Swords, like a visual of it, but it had this, like, it didn't have this painful energy to it as it sometimes can, like carrying these heavy burdens. And there was a little bit of that, but it was mostly about you really closing the chapter and moving in a different direction. And I also saw you in a river. You were laying on your back and you were literally letting the water take you. And you weren't resisting, and you were also, oh, and I do want to show you this beautiful Alchemy Elementals card that I did pull for you. It's Sky, Snow, and Sun, and it's a 6, and this is about you entering a place in your life where you've persevered through so much, and at the same time, like I saw you in the river, you're actually allowing the glaciers of your mind to melt. Okay, that's the symbology of this card. It's like the glaciers, they start to melt from the warmth of your heart. Okay, so another gigantic congratulations for that, because this is all part of this emotional fulfillment that you're going to get to at the end of this journey, at the end of this road. But the path to that is about shedding and releasing and breaking massive, massive ancestral cycles. This is beyond you, okay? I'll show you. You got Mother, Father Healing. This is a beautiful Palladian card. And this energy it's about you realizing that you are a child of the universe and that your mother and your father on this planet served a very specific function to help you grow, to protect you, and for some to trigger you in a certain way so that you could get to this exact point in your life. So this point in your life, it has been predestined. And this is why you actually came to planet Earth, is to break this ancestral pattern that has been going on. And for some of you, it's many patterns, right, within one family. But there is one lineage, either the mother, the father. See which one you get called to first. Don't think about it too much. There's an inner knowing that you have, and you're going to know which one it is that you need to heal the most. And that is playing out right now in your self-doubts and anything that's holding you back from moving smoothly through this part of the journey. Now, that said, I do want to talk about some of the self-doubt is coming from a place of you still needing to prove yourself, from some of the things that you've been through recently, the endings and the big tower moments and the rug being pulled from underneath you, big life changes, big breakups, some of you, people passing away, losing jobs, losing homes, like these things that feel emotionally heavy and catastrophic have actually happened to put you on this path of healing this ancestral lineage, right, that needs to be healed. And some of you are still, because you are so strong and you are so powerful, it's like you're wanting to prove what you made out of that situation at this point. And so Spirit wants to bring you into the consciousness of patience, and that will happen in its natural timing. And this timing is not about that. It's not about anyone approving of what you're doing. It's not about you proving to anyone that you did it and that you're amazing, which you are. You know you are. You guys are freaking amazing, right? The things that you can do, the energy that you bring to things, the vision that you have. It's like sometimes people are miles or decades behind. And when you talk, it's like, why isn't anyone understanding me? It's because you're that far ahead, right? You're that progressive. And that's such an incredible quality that you have. But it's like at this time, like no one's going to really understand what you're going through and what you're trying to create. So it's very important for you to not get into this mode of needing to prove yourself, okay? The results are going to come from your genuine experience and your joy and your happiness of actually shedding all of these things and stepping into the magic. That's what's going to bring the results that you want, and also your dedication and your hard work in the details of the process. And this is long term, okay? This is about mastery of the self. This is about completely shifting your life path, and these things take time to evolve. And now in January, you were able to see why things couldn't happen fast, right? Because in January, you could actually feel the resistance in you. You could feel the way things were pulling you left and right, and things were painful. And some days you just wanted to melt away. And then other days you were like, okay, I'm ready to go. So you were getting glimpses of the energy that's coming for the rest of this path, which is going to be exciting. It's going to be adventurous. It's going to be creative. It's going to be so many beautiful things, right? But the process of making you this magical light on your feet type of person that's like up for anything and ready to transform and ready to go where spirit takes you, the process of becoming that butterfly in itself can be really painful and can be, like your most secretive, private, like wounds and pains are just surfacing, right? So this is what January was about, and congratulations, you've made it into February. And I just want to talk about that January period. It called me to pull some runes for you, because the runes, I really bring them out when shit's getting real. Like when you really need to see, like, where have I been? Where am I? And where am I going? Right. So in January, this was you. This was you as a baby feeding from the primal waters, right? From the emotions, from the feminine, from the flow. This is you evolving spiritually, okay? And what the energy that's coming in for February is you see this hunter? This is you. This is an amazing rune, okay? And this equals to the 4. And so this is about like stamina and the understanding of the cycle of life and death. Like your understanding of what's happening to you and the shifts that you're making is what's going to allow you to be so much more creative in the future. It's going to allow you to shift and jump and be comfortable and be able to thrive in any environment that spirit puts you in. Okay. That's what I mean when I say light on your feet. This is like growing. This hunter with the bow and arrow is strong because he's experienced it all. He's had to sacrifice a lot. He's had to hold a lot of stamina, but through the process of understanding his environment, the cycles of nature, the surroundings, is how he's gotten his strength, right? How he's able to actually hunt. And then what's going to happen after that? 10. So you're actually going to close out this cycle of releasing, and you're going to enter into the process of pure creation. This rune actually means deliverance, which is such a powerful word. Deliverance. You are being delivered. You're not running steadfast into your future. You are being delivered, like that beautiful image I had of you laying in the river and letting the water take you after the glaciers have melted, right? So this is kind of like this whole theme, this whole process has been really about recreation. It's like it's been about you recreating the order in your life. Okay, there was disorder, and the disorder that we've talked about before was from you not being emotionally fulfilled, from you doing things from survival. We talked about that, right? We don't have to get into that. And this closing out of this cycle is your destiny. It's your fate. This is a very fated rune. And it's also about the strength that you build. And I love how strength is a theme here, because there is a message for you about strength. So this strength that you've gained has happened from the inside and from the outside. And it's happened because of the pressures that your life path has put you on. And this is why whenever you get comfortable and things start becoming boring, here comes something to like shift everything up, to turn things upside down, because the strength that you've built from being able to pivot and to move through those changes is what spirits wanted you to learn, right? It's the tool that spirit has wanted you to be able to have in your hands, so that when the time comes, you can enter into this leadership position that you are going to be. You are a leader by nature, but this is sort of like a whole evolution of a different type of leadership. This is like the complete picture. You're not missing any elements in this creation. It's going to be full, right? And so the other thing so on the topic of strength, the other message is that don't allow your strength and the fact that you've been at it alone most of your life, even when in company of people, you've often felt alone because you just have this incredible foresight that I was talking about, and this progressiveness that it's kind of hard for people to understand you. So even when you're not alone, you feel alone, right? And that loneliness has built like it's built like a scab on your wound, right? It's built like a strength, a hardening of that wound, of that skin, right? And so while we just talked about how you're going to need that to be in the leadership role, on the other side of that, and this is why you're stop and go, on the other side of that, Spirit wants you to, in that strength, to not forget to ask for help, to not forget your humanness and your heart, and that you can call upon, yes, your guides and your angels, but you can also call upon material, like a physical manifestation of help. You can do that, and you have the green light to do that, to ask people that you know and that you trust to help you, and they will do that. Okay, so this is about not letting pride get in your way, and not letting like your past affect the decisions that you make for the future. Of like, yes, you're a lone wolf, but also like it's important to surround yourself and be in unity with those that you love and that love you. And if you don't have anyone in your current environment like that, ask Spirit to bring those people into your life, to show you who they are, to have them show up for you when the time is right, and taking comfort in knowing that help is available. Okay, so I think the more that you get into the discipline and the process and move away from the big picture results right now, I think that's going to really help you to identify specifically, okay, what do I need help with exactly? And that's going to start to like move the energy for you to be able to call in for that help, or seek it out, or research it, right? Another reason that you've been in this process of releasing, we talked about like your need for understanding what that means in the bigger picture, but it's also been a teaching about timing, and about like why you can't rush certain things like you've done in the past. You've rushed into relationships, you've rushed into jobs and careers, and big moves, and or maybe rushed out of, right, very quickly. Like you've rushed out of situations, like run away from them without closing them out properly, right, with its natural time, with when nature calls, when it's time to, when you really know like, okay, this is time to go now. It's been in that sort of rush state of having to problem solve. And so this has been about you understanding what divine timing really is. It's not that the universe is like, I'm going to put Aquarius on hold now so they can really think about this. Like, no, there's an actual, this is fluid, everything's in motion. This is an actual time where something is happening. And if you're not creating, then you're releasing, right? And it's like, what are you doing in that time to help to allow that process, right? So it's not about you like getting depressed or, crying. It's okay to cry and release, but like, don't stay in that energy, right? So instead of like focusing on the pain of it, it's about understanding that through that pain, you're letting go of X, Y, Z and sort of consciously approaching it from that place, right? So all of that is happening within divine timing, and it's going to give you a new perspective of the patience that's required to be someone who creates the life of your dreams. Okay. Okay. So before I pull the tarot, I just want to talk about briefly that I've been getting very intense feelings for the Aquas about family dynamics, about connections, past connections that need to be remade, communications that were left in a certain way. You need to reconnect. And for some of you, there's a conversation that needs to be had with a family member. It feels more like someone that one of you has decided to not continue the relationship or to not communicate with each other. That in itself is going to be very healing for you. But I think for the general Aquas, what's been coming through about family has actually been nostalgia. It's been like this longing, like as you traverse these waters and as you get a glimpse and a taste of the, what's possible and the creative vibe that you step into, and like, these ideas that you've been having. And then when you step back into the fears and the self-doubt, it's when you start to feel this nostalgia for the past, for your family unit, maybe having memories or dreams about, your childhood home, maybe when your parents were together, maybe things you used to do with your siblings, maybe when you were in school. There's sort of a lot of that, like looking into the past energy. And I feel that that's why the mother-father healing card came out, because there's something calling you from that time, okay? And it's asking to be healed, and know that that nostalgia is like, it's a part of softening your heart and opening you up to receive more. So you don't have to resist it, but definitely go with your intuition. If there's people that you need to reconnect with, if there's, conversations that were left pending. Obviously, if something is unhealthy and it brings you down, you don't need to go and open that back up until you're strong enough to do that. But if you feel that you are strong enough to do that, and you want to embrace this healing that's needed, then I really do recommend that you pinpoint that situation and address it. I think it's going to be really healthy. So, okay. So when I saw your body being taken by the flow of water, I also had visions of an anchor. And the anchor is actually what you're doing now. It's the work that you're doing on yourself right now, and the time that you're dedicating to your projects, and the steps that you're taking with that discipline, with that discernment of your thoughts, and like this whole weaving of the tapestry that you're doing, right? Like a spider web. That aspect of it is creating an anchor for you, where you're going to be able to always have that foundation, that strength, that power to actually build from. And you're going to be able to create new paths and walk off the beaten path and do whatever it is you want, go as far out as you want, get as creative and crazy as you want. But then you'll always have that anchor to come back to, right? So it's about actually building a foundation. And this is the process that you're in right now. Even though I think for most of you, you see the outcome, you see what it is that you're wanting to create, there's still a lot more that's going to come to you. There's a lot more that's going to be revealed to you this year, in the next coming months. And I mean, it's a fluid process. Like it can happen, every couple of days, but then like a month later, you'll get this big aha moment. And then throughout the year, it's going to keep expanding in that way. So don't get too caught up on what it looks like now. Just go with your intuition about what needs to happen today, right? Don't get too far off, because things will start to change. There'll be other elements added to it, and there'll be other things that you can implement into this picture that you couldn't have seen until you released what you released, right? Okay. So I think I've said what I wanted to say, and I'm going to start tapping into the tarot. Yeah. And actually the overall energy that you got for the rune is that this time in February is very protected and it's very fruitful. So a lot of the things that you do in February you're planting very deep roots that you're going to see later on. Okay. You're going to see them grow and evolve later on. You're also in a growing process still. And Spirit wants you to know that you're safe in this adventure, even though it may not feel like it at times. Okay. Overall energy for Aquarius for February. Okay. Yeah. The Hierophant. So you are exactly, that is so beautiful. You are becoming this leader that we've been talking about. Even though you have the nature, this is about you putting the anchor down and actually taking the disciplined steps to getting there, to understand all of your life experiences and bringing it into this like wealth of information that's going to be available to you of understanding life, right? That's where your leadership is coming from, and that you're no longer missing certain aspects of yourself, right? This is about the integration of your full self in moving forward. Yeah. And also, and this is also about the structured way that you're used to doing things with your brilliant mind. And this is kind of like what's required right now. It's like what I was talking about, like instead of being result oriented, it's about being process oriented in this time, not forever. Okay. So last month when I spoke to you, it was about like coming from the heart. It's like, what could my life look like, right? How can I approach this from my feminine energy? And it was really about like starting to flirt with an idea of what it is that you want. Now, if you've gotten to that point of, I know what I want, which I feel like, I do feel that that's where you're at. That's why there's this like glimpse of like excitement and hope and adventure. And then suddenly, fear, doubt. Oh my God, am I gonna be able to do this? Oh my God, what if it all comes crashing down? Like, what if this, what if that? What if people don't get me? Like all of that, right? It's like that back and forth. It's because now you actually know what it is that you want to manifest in your life. And so this is about you kind of like taking the necessary steps and putting in the work to realize that dream and to see where it takes you, mostly because after you go through this more structural process of the foundation is when you want to bring in the heart and the love, right? It's like you learn the rules and now you can break them, right? It's like now you can add all these amazing things to it because the foundation is there, right? I can't believe it. Sorry, it's like I literally yes, this is confirmation. Okay, you got the Lover's card. So this is what you're doing. 100%. You are going from the more institutional, structured approach of doing things the right way to being free and knowing and integrating your polarities and being in this revolution, this I keep hearing revolution and like the radical self-love. And when you tap into radical self-love, you are able to look at everything around you and everyone from that same love. And then what you create is from that place. And that's the stuff that's going to be matched. The universe is going to match that to you. Okay. When you get into this space. So, but these are both your overall energy. So this is just talking about that both are needed. Okay. So you are absolutely 100% on the right track. If you had any minor doubts about it, put them to rest because that is absolute confirmation. Yeah. And that's a 5 and a 6, by the way. So yeah, it's like step 1, step 2. Spirit is outlining it for you. I mean, how lucky are you? So sweet. Okay, let's see. Okay, yeah. So you have the Fool energy as your goal. So you absolutely want to be able, because you're aware of this process, remember, you want to be able to jump into that unknown and trust and live almost like a happy idiot, right? In that naive approach of like, I don't care what challenges this is going to bring, but this is going to be one hell of a ride and this is going to be fun. And that's the way you want to approach your life. And I'm not saying that's the way you should approach it. I'm literally reading it as you are approaching it this way. Okay, this is your objective. It might not even be about the thing you're creating, actually. It might be more about becoming that person. That's what this is taking you on. It's helping you to develop self from that point of view. Okay, yeah. In the obstacle, you got Empress reversed. This is what we've been talking about. This is just about you needing to heal. For a lot of you, it's going to be a mother wound. But this is also about you healing the feminine, which we did talk about in the last reading. But I think for all of you, I can say that the obstacle has been to be in that creative energy because you've been worried so much about the environment around you, about the people that you have to support, about people that have hurt you, about, providing material issues like, lack of money, lack of resources, lack of support, even emotionally. It doesn't have to be financial, but mainly lack of creative energy, which I'm connecting to all those things because it feels like, because you are so creative, but it feels difficult to be creative when, the rest of your life is messy right now, right? So that's been the obstacle. And also impatience, because you're going through this process without the safety net, without the safety blanket, but it's because the whole, oh my God, this is so beautiful. It's because what's being shown to you is that that never was the safety blanket. That never was the safety net. The thing that you think it was. It was always the magic. It was always the divine timing. It was always the generosity of the universe, of the creator, your higher self, whatever you believe in. And so coming back to that understanding is going to make you feel so safe, like a baby in your mother's arms. Okay. This is such a powerful reading. Like whenever I tap into you guys, it's like an explosive energy, and it's because of this transformation that you're going through. And yeah. Okay. So your strength is your experience. It's every single thing that you've been through. It's all the hoops that you've had to jump through, all the pivoting you've had to do, all the times you've fallen and had to get up because there was nothing else to support you. It's about your worldly self. It's about being cultured. It's about your life experience. That is your strength. That's what you bring to everything that you do. And that's not something that money can buy. That's not something that that takes life experience to gain, basically, and a certain type of progressive mind that you have to be able to extract the understanding from those experiences. Some people go through things and they just say, oh, look what life did to me. You guys go through things and you're like, oh, okay, I see that, right? In the environment, yes, lots of death. So in the environment, you have this, it's this same rune of understanding the unity and what's at play with life and death, right? For some of you, this has been people actually passing away in your life. So you've been grieving. For some of you, it's been, the end of an era in a lot of ways, the end of a very, very long period of time where you've been, this could actually be the end of the person that you thought you were. And it's the beginning of this incredible you that's going to emerge, the one that is led by your higher self. Okay. So, what this also tells me is like, I'm getting that why this has been like a brutal, like being thrown into this new version of you is because it's been both on the inside and the outside. Like whatever endings you've experienced on the outside were already happening internally. So it's like, not only are you shifting your feelings, but then the world around you is shifting and you're trying to catch up. And that's why, that's the ebb and flow. That's the back and forth that I'm feeling. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Beautiful. Okay, so obviously this is the happiest card in the deck, right? The Sun. But this is a Leo card, and it's come out to express that you are healing and that you are going to come into the full embodiment of this healed version of yourself, the fully integrated, where is that Lover's card? There it is. That fully integrated you by Leo season. Okay. Not a lot, guys. It's not a lot of time. Okay. So you have, okay. So there's two things that have come out for what you should do in sort of the next steps following this reading, following the energy that you're going to be experiencing, the sort of the back and forth in February. First of all, keep going, okay? Doesn't matter how crazy it feels or how unstable it feels or how much your self-doubt like pulls you back. Just, okay, I acknowledge you. That feels shitty. And then keep moving forward. Now, what's going to help you to keep moving forward is what I was talking about in terms of process orientation, being process oriented rather than result oriented. This to me tells me two things. You need to find someone who has the expertise in what you're doing, and you need training. You need to take courses. You need to level up the understanding of what steps are needed in order to identify a certain process. Okay. This is also, this is you basically getting advice. And then also this is about you becoming an expert in what you're doing so that you can maximize your results. You also have to understand, and here's the ebb and flow. You have to understand that in that, it's kind of out of focus. I hope you guys can see that. It's Magician and Hangman. So you have to understand that, like, in that aspect of you that is a self-starter, that is naturally smart, sometimes you can miss out on doing the work of getting the proper training, because sometimes it's hard for you to sit in an environment where you're like, well, I know that. Do I really need to be here? But it's going to help you through this time of Hanged Man, where the universe is wanting you to get that bird's eye view that I've been talking about, right? To be able to see the full picture, to see every step of the process. For some of you, this is also going to be a time to realize that this isn't what you want to do. And that's okay, because you're still in time to actually say, you know what? I don't think this is the approach I want to take. I don't think this is the thing that I want to, this is actually very different from what I thought it was going to be. So I'm just going to actually do it this way, or I'm going to go in this direction, right? It's about you having the freedom to say, okay, cool. That gave me something. That gave me what I needed in that time. And now I'm going to jump into this other thing, because it's not separate. It's all been a part of it. Okay. So don't feel like you're a flake or like you weren't good enough. Let your emotional state be your guide. If you're not enjoying it, if you're not enjoying the process of mastering something, then chances are you're not going to enjoy doing the thing forever, right? So definitely take this time to like get all the information that you need and respect the timing, because it's allowing you to see, do I really want this or do I want something else? Okay, so this is going to be a little bit of an exploration as well, and you just have to roll with it, okay? So you have Temperance in the outcome for February. Okay, this is February. And it's really about you taking the time to look at all these things and making sure that every aspect of what you're doing is in balance and that you have the whole picture before proceeding. Okay, so it's sometimes like internal, like needing to balance the energies within you, and then sometimes it's external, like you might be missing a wealth of knowledge in this area, but you might have a lot in this area, and so it's like, okay, let me take the time to actually bring that into balance, right? But this is also about taking the time to do the ancestral healing, the mother or father wound, or both. Okay. All right. Beautiful. So I'm just going to pull a few more cards. just checking my time because I tend to, these readings are getting longer and longer. I'm going to have to get a timer because it's like they started at like, I think 17 minutes and I'm literally like, I think this reading's going to be long. It might be at like 40. But, you know, I'm also going to trust that it might be because it's what you need in this time. Okay. Bear with me. Okay. You got let go. Make room for the new beginning on its way to you now. Beautiful. You got love spell. This is about you being completely passionate and romantic about this journey that you're embarking on, and also the creative energy behind what you're doing. So this is going to be good. Okay. And you got guardian. A loved one watches over you, which is why I always get for your energy to, you know, ask your guides and your angels for help because they are with you. Okay, so I'm just going to pull a couple of shadow cards for you to see if, aside from the family healing that's needed, if there's anything else that needs to be loved and acknowledged and released. Spirit, give me a shadow card for my lovely Aquas. Happy birthday, by the way. I don't know if I said that already, but I know I missed a few days of the Aqua birthday, but I know a lot of you are going to have birthdays in February, and just do the things that make you happy on your birthday. Doesn't have to be a big splash, but it can definitely be the simple and the little things that you love to do or who you love to be with, and just be in that magic and flow and see where the day takes you. Okay, so you're definitely, you can't come with me. I lied to you and I wondered how far this would go. So some of you are definitely have left a relationship behind because it's just not going to survive this new version of you, and there's too much that you're transforming to be able to bring someone with you. Some of you have been deceived as well, and I think some of you were aware of that. You were aware that you were being deceived, and you were kind of like waiting for this whole thing to unravel. The person that you're walking away from knows that they made a mistake. They wish you well, and they know that it's too late. Okay? This is good, Aqua. This is, this could be some of the nostalgia that I'm picking up on when you go into the self-doubt and fear mode. You're going to want to revert back to situations that weren't healthy for you. But just know that your instincts are always right, okay? And this is going to make room for the kind of love that is going to be on the level of who you're becoming. Okay, so I'm going to do some ancient symbols for you as the final part of the reading. I hope that you've enjoyed this reading. I definitely have really enjoyed tapping into your energy, and if you can, drop me a comment, give me a like, subscribe to my channel. Okay. Relief. Yeah. February is going to bring you relief because as you move into these calmer waters, as the glaciers melted and you're letting the stream take you, it's becoming more obvious what was holding you back, and that's going to bring you a big relief. Yep, time. This is about you being patient with what's happening and knowing that these types of legacies, these types of empires, they take time. And that's what you're on board for. You're painting the masterpiece of your life's work. And that takes time and cannot be rushed. Okay. And trust. No surprise there. Trust, trust, trust. Okay, my Aquas, I love you so much. I wish you so well. Happy birthday, happy February, and I will see you back on here soon.